Welcome to Horror Tales, the channel that delves into the darkest realms of fear and brings spine-chilling stories to life. Prepare to be gripped by the icy fingers of terror as we embark on a journey through the shadows. Subscribe now and brace yourself for a terrifying experience you'll never forget. Welcome to Horror Tales, where nightmares come alive. True scary story. I had a regrettable experience during a tropical vacation with my friends, where I realized the importance of not scaring them. While I derive pleasure from playfully frightening my close friends, I assure you it's just a harmless enjoyment and not a reflection of any mental issues. On this particular trip, I was brainstorming ways to genuinely scare my friends in our hotel room. My mind drew a blank until I remembered a fake phone number application. I began texting my friends, predicting their late-night activities to gauge their reactions and see what they would do. Every night, I continued this prank until it reached a point where they became genuinely concerned and considered involving the authorities. It was then that I realized I had gone too far, as it was meant to be a joke and nothing serious. Tonight marks the final night of our stay, and we were all enjoying ourselves at the bar, drinking and socializing. Around 1:15 a.m., everyone decided to return to the hotel. However, I chose to stay behind because I was still having a great time and didn't want the night to end so early. Although they encouraged me to come with them since I had no other means of getting back, I assured them that I would manage to get home safely as the hotel was only 2 miles away. I insisted on walking despite their initial disappointment, and eventually they agreed to leave me behind and headed back to the hotel. Around 2 a.m., my phone received a notification from an unfamiliar number simply saying, "Hello." This puzzled me since I hadn't shared my number with anyone that night, and it was an unusual time to receive such a message. Upon checking, I realized it was the same number I had been using to prank my friends. The shiver ran down my spine because only I should have had access to that number. I quickly checked the prank app, wondering if I accidentally texted myself using that number. Given my intoxicated state, I couldn't rule it out, but it turned out I hadn't used the number since the previous day. 4 minutes later, another text arrived from the same number, stating they all left you alone. I considered the possibility that one of my friends had discovered my prank and was trying to turn the tables on me. I attempted to call each of them, but none of them answered. They were all sound asleep, intoxicated, back at the hotel. I glanced around the bar, hoping to catch sight of someone observing or using their phones, but everyone seemed engrossed in the euphoria of the bar, their senses dulled by alcohol. At this point, I made the decision to leave and start my journey home, believing that reaching home sooner would be better. Unfortunately, I underestimated the consequences of going alone. As I stepped outside, the fog from the nearby ocean had enveloped the entire town, reducing visibility to less than 20 feet. Despite the circumstances, I proceeded with my walk home. However, after approximately 5 minutes, another text appeared on my phone screen, asking, "Walking home all alone." I read the message and instinctively turned my head, hoping to catch a glimpse of someone nearby watching me. Unfortunately, the dense fog hindered my vision, and I began feeling increasingly paranoid. 7 minutes passed, and another text message appeared. "Turn around." Fear gripped me as I continued walking, and in a moment of panic, I glanced behind me, but I saw nothing. However, shortly after, I heard the sound of rapid footsteps, slapping the wet pavement coming from behind. My sober senses instantly kicked in, and I started sprinting. The footsteps were unnaturally swift, almost inhuman, resembling an animal running on all fours. During a fleeting glance backward, I caught sight of a silhouette. The figure stood at least 6.5 feet tall, hairless, and incredibly thin. It ran with immense force, its arms flailing uncontrollably. This creature must have been running faster than 20 miles per hour, although I couldn't be certain due to the overwhelming adrenaline coursing through my veins. In desperation, I veered into a nearby line of bushes bordering the road. In the silence of the bushes, I waited, hoping that the pursuit had ceased. I couldn't dismiss this experience as a mere figment of my imagination, even considering my intoxicated state. Terrified of what would happen if that entity found me, I remained perfectly still. The sound of footsteps faded away momentarily until I received another text from the same number. "I see you." My phone's screen illuminated the shrub where I hid, finally providing a clear view of the creature. To my horror, it stood taller than I had estimated, reaching 7 to 8 feet. Its bald head was replaced with countless tiny black eyes instead of hair. Devoid of a recognizable face, it had pale, almost gray skin with thousands of thick veins visible beneath its cold, damp flesh. My survival instinct kicked in and I bolted from my hiding spot as fast as my body would allow. Yet, the footsteps pursued me relentlessly, drawing nearer with each passing moment. Finally, a cold, bony hand violently grabbed my shoulder, causing me to lose my balance. The next thing I remember is waking up in a cold, dark room, feeling disoriented and frightened. The ground beneath me was slimy and damp, and an unbearable stench filled the air, inducing nausea. Despite my attempts to call for help, none of my calls to friends, loved ones, or emergency services went through. I find myself in a state of fear and isolation. I will provide an update as soon as something happens. Fearless, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel.